Hey guys, how are you doing? I apologize for my unintentional 1 month hiatus. That was not intended at all. I just got really busy because I had finals and a lot of stuff to worry about. But I'm back. Here's another video. I hope you guys enjoy. I'm going to do something a little bit spooky today. We're going to dive into some urban legends, some creepy stories. Let's jump into the spooky nightmare fuel. So we're actually just going to go into a random CreepyPasta. I'm on CreepyPasta.com and I just clicked, taste a random pasta. So we're going to go into a completely random story. I'm completely blind. I don't know what it will be. Hopefully it is interesting. So let's give that one a shot. You get on the bus at around 11 p.m. Finally. Later than you'd like. Much, much later. But at least, tired as you are finally on. Headed home for the evening. You hadn't expected the group meeting for your final project to drag on for so long, but your group got distracted and started amicably chatting about everything that wasn't related to the project before, finally, barely getting to business. Upon leaving the library at last, you realize that you barely accomplished anything at all. But you don't really care about that right now. Right now, you only care about getting home. You make your way to the back, even though you're one of only 2 passengers. This is mostly out of habit, but also out of preference. You're used to sitting back there, and so you've grown fond of it. Hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second. That creeped me out because my air purifier just shut off, and that is a little bit spooky. But that's because it's on a timer, so my apologies. I need a little bit of a noise in the back while I'm doing anything. I will continue. The other passenger is a man, seated in the middle left row. You've never been very good at guessing ages, but you know that he's much older than you. You've never been good at describing people, but you know how to describe him. Just from what you can see of the back of his head, in one word, even. That word is weird. The man has a full trash bag next to his feet on the public bus. What kind of person would bring trash on a bus? Is that even allowed? You've been kicked off for bringing on fast food before in the daytime, but you guess everyone, including the night driver, loses any motivation to care about much of anything at around 5 in the afternoon. You text your roommate and joke about it, hoping to give her a few after her late weekend shift. The two of you have never been friends since freshman year, and you know that she would get a kick out of the weird trash man. She doesn't reply. Must be in the shower. You wonder if the man is homeless. This thought makes you feel a bit guilty for the moments, even though he doesn't look very homeless. Then again, you wouldn't know if homeless had a look, or if it did, what that would be. Maybe he keeps his clothes in there. Maybe it's not garbage at all. You zone out for a while, eyes fixed on nothing in particular, in the vague direction of the trash bag at the man's feet. It only grabs your attention when it begins to move. Your first thought is that, oh god, a rat or something got it. Or maybe this guy is some live pigeon collecting creep. You were startled out of your seat either way. Then you notice that the whole bag is moving, and whatever is in there is much bigger than a rodent or a bird. You can't keep your eyes off of it as it squirms and wreathes. After a few seconds, you start to wonder if the movement will cause the bag to break. Somehow, miraculously, it hasn't. You aren't sure that you want to see what would come out of it. You text your roommate again, freaking out about what's happening in front of you, but again, no reply. No matter, she'll get the full story when you get home, even if you have to wake her up to give it. You watch in sheer horror as the clear outline of a human hand stretches the black plastic. You can't see inside, but oh god, the implications of what this means hit you all at once. You can't breathe. You can't move. You're frozen in fear. You wonder if you should alert the bus driver. On one hand, you don't want to let this creep escape with his captive. But you realize that to get to the driver, you would have to pass him. And you don't know or want to think of what he would do to you on your way. Surely he's noticed you by now. Your eyes on his bag. Surely he knows that you saw it. And you're trapped with him on this bus until one of you gets off. The hopelessness of the situation is overwhelming. You can't escape. You can't get out. You can't breathe. And then at the next stop, he makes the decision for you. He gets off with his bag, disappearing into the night, never to be seen again, or at least by you. You know that you have to tell someone, but you aren't sure what you would even say, how you would describe him, or if anyone would believe you. You get home a few minutes later, relieved to be done with that experience, even though you know you won't be sleeping that night. Your roommate should be home by now, so at least you won't be alone. Your roommate isn't home. You have the sinking feeling that she never will be again. Ooh, a little spooky. I think it's a little bit spooky, but to be honest, I actually think that was a little bit predictable there, because the way that it was just kind of randomly mentioning your roommate constantly, I kind of knew what the twist would be at the end. But that's still a little spooky. Like, imagine you're just on the bus and you just see some, homeless looking guy who has a bag, and it's a dead body or a body in general. That's creepy. I don't like that at all. But what did you guys think of that story? I personally am a little bit disappointed. I don't think it was that spooky. But let's move on to another one. Why don't we try going into something a little bit different? We'll take a taste of a random pasta. Oh, by the way, that one was called Trash Bag. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let's move on to another story. Another spooky wooky story. This one, oh no, this is a part one. I want to read something that's just, you can digest it all in one sitting, preferably, because I do not want, to leave you guys on the edge of your seat. And the next one here is called Theo Twinning. Let's make sure this is something I can read, though. Around 4 minutes. Okay, sure. This is the tale of an incident that occurred to me a few years ago, when I was a younger man and convinced that the world was exactly as I saw it, and worked exactly as I was told it worked. I had just finished my undergraduate degree at a college I shall not name, in the middle of Wales. Though my degree was interesting enough, I really wanted to leave behind the books and the academia and immerse myself in the study and practical research of the paranormal. Though my funds were slight at best, and my student loan needed repaying on returning to London, I placed an advertisement in my local gazette, asking for anyone who had experienced paranormal phenomena, and didn't mind talking about it, to give me a call. I couldn't offer anything in the way of a reward for their troubles, but I did promise to buy them a drink or two while we talked over what they had experienced. It didn't take me long to receive my first and only caller. And to be honest, I was quite surprised that my ad had this much success. But I am not one to look a gift horse in the mouth. That's a weird saying. Okay? A gift horse? The call came while my mobile was turned off, but a number had been left on voicemail, and a few days later, I called back. I didn't want to respond immediately, though I don't know why. Perhaps I wanted to seem more professional. Like I had 100 people on waiting list or something. Anyway, I called the next evening, and was greeted by the voice of a young man, who identified himself as Theo Twinning. Twining, I think, actually. I asked if we could meet, but he declined, with a dry and solemn chuckle. I told him that it didn't matter, and we could conduct the conversation just as easily by telephone. Perhaps he was shy, I told myself. His situation was this. Since about 2 weeks ago, he paused for a good minute or two before recanting his tale, repeatedly telling me that I would think him stupid. He started to see worms, regular earthworms, cross his path. I at first thought him as a little bit paranoid before I heard the particulars of the tale. Not just outside, not just crossing his path, but in all manner of places. If he made a cup of coffee, there would be an earthworm, dried and boiled at the bottom of the cup. When he woke to find himself covered in 5 or 6 of them. That's absolutely disgusting. And when he sat at his desk, they would crawl toward him from beneath the monitor screen and from under his keyboard. Ooh, yo, this is getting to me. This is like straight up nightmare fuel for me. I fucking hate bugs, worms, especially in places that they should not be. That's so nasty. Oh my goodness. It makes me, oh god. He told me of how he lived in a neatish studio apartment on the 3rd floor, and how this only happened very recently. I listened to all he said with a rapt silence, alternating between deep fascination and a nagging guilt. I was finding such thrill hearing this tale while Theo was undeniably suffering over it. Naturally, quite hooked on his story at this point, I asked again if we could meet. Maybe he was more at ease with me now. But he seemed even less inclined now to meet. However, he did promise that he would call the next day. We agreed that I could take the call at 7 p.m. after I got home from work. I work in a not-so-busy estate agent's. Okay. I guess this is how, like, UK people talk. I would say agency, but okay. So I spent most of the next day's office hours mulling over what he had told me, and even went as far as to run an internet check on Theo Twining. What I found made revulsion rise in the pit of my stomach, a hot and acidic feeling of sickness. I don't know for how long I sat there, still and shocked, until a coworker shook me out of it, asking if I was okay. It was all I could do to lie. Though before me, the screen gave details on Theo Twining, a young man of the same area of London in which I had lived, had committed suicide in his apartment 2 weeks ago. The obituary and funerary notice was in the very same paper in which my advertisement appeared. I ditched my mobile as soon as I could, tossing it into a hedge, and I took the next few days off work. I went off to visit friends, not wanting to be alone. As of writing this, I am studying for a master's degree in my undergraduate subject. I never tried to investigate the paranormal again after that. The world doesn't work the way I was told it does. That was pretty cool. That was a cool one. I think that had some build-up. I enjoyed the pacing of it, and it wasn't so much like a... I don't think it was trying too hard, because it's pretty simple, like, you know, worms, and he killed himself. Pretty solid. I liked it. How believable is it? Not so much, but better than the other one, for sure. I kind of liked it. Yeah. Well, that is it. Thank you, guys. I know that there was a little bit of a, wow, just 2 stories, but I don't want to drag it on for too long. I'm trying to make my videos a little bit shorter in length because I feel like the longer the videos, the less of a watch time I have. And yeah, plus I'm going to be filming another video after this as well. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Hopefully you guys are going to be sleeping well, because I know I'm going to have a nightmare or 2 after this because, I'm filming this and my fucking air purifier turned off, so I'm a little bit spooked out. But yeah, thanks again. Bye.